All right, on tonight's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our generative AI course, and we're still doing our vector databases. Let's have a look at what we went over tonight. Last night, if you recall, the last thing we did inside of our Chroma database was the retriever, where we actually specified that we wanted two returns from our query, and we use this particular code right here: retriever equals vector database as retriever, search quarks equals k2. They specified that we only wanted two returns back, regardless of how many returns there were. So we're gonna pick up where we left off and do some light reading. So this code lets us specify how many answers or responses that we will return. Here we are specifying that we want a max of two answers or responses. Now we would specify this before we run our retriever initially. The next thing we will do is make a chain. For this, we will have to import the library we need. This is the library and import we need to move forward. So I put this in my imports right here from langchain.change, import retrieval QA. Next, we will use our LLM to call our OpenAI model, and this is how we would do that. See, the LLM equals OpenAI. Now we can call our OpenAI model by using the LLM like this. You can see here, here's our LLM. We're calling our model. Now we will create a chain using this particular method. So we have the QA chain equals retrieval QA dot from chain type equals LLM OpenAI. Chain method equals stuff. Retriever equals retriever. Return source documents equals true. So here we have chained together our LLM and our retriever inside of our object and stored it inside the QA chain. So this is the object we created here. Here we chained the LLM and a retriever, and we stored all that inside the QA chain. Then we will use a two-part method that will be created to cite our sources. Let me go down a bit. So here we have define process LLM response. We're going to pass LLM response as a parameter. And this is everything we're going to use to create the first part of our method. So this is part one. Here is the second half of the cite method. This is our query. How much money did Microsoft raise? We're going to use the LLM response. We're going to get that QA chain query. We're going to assign that to the LLM response. So this is our variable. And then lastly, we're going to process that LLM response. We're going to pass that LLM response. Now this is the second half of our cite method. So let's go down a little bit more. So what we are doing here is creating a method called process LLM response. You can see here, this is the process we're creating here. And that will process our queries. Next, we created a query that we wanted to request from our model. This is the query we created here. And next, we assigned our retriever method, the QA, you can see here, to the variable LLM response. So you remember this is our retriever right here. Why does it say QA chain? Because we recall that we assigned our retriever right here to the QA chain. So this is basically our retriever now because everything is stored inside the QA chain. And now that our QA chain is stored in our LLM response, we can call LLM response to get our response. We can do that like this. So after all that, we are not getting an answer or we're not generating an answer directly from our LLM model. We are just using it for refinement. Instead, we will pass our retriever object and generate our answer from there. This means we will still pass the embeddings, or this means we will pass the embeddings or the database. So let me go down a little bit more. So instead of generating an answer from the model, we will be generating an answer from the embeddings themselves. Once all of this is done, we can call process LLM response, which will give us our final output answer. And that's this here. So we will call this finally after everything is done. We can call our process LLM response with a parameter of LLM response. To recap, the LLM response is not for the generating or not for the answer generation. It returns us an answer from the document itself, and from here we are generating a final answer. So when we ran LLM response by itself, we weren't generating an answer. We were just getting back an entire answer from the documents themselves, and then from that document, we were generating a final answer by processing that LLM response. Now, basically, that's what we went over for the night. Of course, I did put everything over here in our code, so we can have it separated from the code and then from the notes. But of course, we will keep moving forward, and I will keep you posted every step of the way. And for now, this is the Python Papi. You guys stay Gucci.